Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Cooking with Suzanne. Today we're going to prepare a dish that I prepared at the restaurant, Suzanne Fine Regional Cuisine, quite often during this time of year because it uses asparagus. And it was a wonderful appetizer that many of our guests really enjoyed. We called it a crab meat asparagus tower. So let's first talk about our ingredients. First of all, the asparagus. I used about a half a pound. What you always want to look for is just to make sure that the tips are nice and close tight. If they start to flower and open up, that means the asparagus is not that fresh. So that's what you're looking for in an asparagus. So I blanched the asparagus in salted water, and when they're fresh like this, it doesn't take very long. These cooked in about a minute to a minute and a half. I would say anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes, probably your asparagus would be done. So this is just a Yukon Gold Potato, and I always cook it in the skin. And I cooked about 3 small ones, about this size. We're going to use a pound of crab meat, so I think that would be enough. 3 to 4 small potatoes this size should be plenty for your pound of crab meat. And all you want to do is just peel this back. Make sure that it is completely room temperature, completely cool before you go ahead and dice it. And then tomato, and then shallot, very finely diced, more like minced because it's not going to be cooked. So you want to make sure that you mince it pretty well. 1 large shallot for the pound of crab meat should be plenty. And we are going to put a little bit of mayonnaise in with the crab meat, not a lot, just enough to bind it. And to the mayonnaise, I have about a half a cup here. I'm just going to incorporate a little bit of tomato paste. And you don't need much. I think I put about 1/4 of a teaspoon here. You want to get it to just where the mayonnaise now looks kind of light pink. We also want to put some nice fresh herbs. These are all the herbs from our garden, and I'm so thrilled to be able to use them right now. This is tarragon and some fresh chives. And the tarragon goes really well with seafood. If you're not, it has a little bit of a licorice taste. If you're not a fan of tarragon, by all means don't use it. You can use parsley, you could use chervil. I do like the flavor of the tarragon, especially with the crabs, so I'm going to add some. And of course some fresh chives. I love that onion flavor, which will go very well with the shallot that we're putting in here. So here we have very finely diced, cooled potato. And in this bowl I have about 2 potatoes, 2 small ones. I have 2 more ready to go if I need them. And to it, we need to season this. I'm going to season it with some black pepper. I will add a little bit of kosher salt. And then we will add just enough extra virgin olive oil to coat the potatoes. So maybe about a teaspoon, and just give it a little toss. All right, so let me just taste this and see if it's seasoned well. A little bit more salt, there's plenty of oil. Touch more salt. Okay, and we'll do the same with the asparagus. Now the asparagus, I probably have about 8 spears here, and after you blanch it, you have to shock it in ice water. You need to stop the cooking. That's very important. Here are the asparagus, nice and sliced, about 1/4 inch slice. So that's all set, and we will season it the same way we do the potatoes. A little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Mix that up. Let's give that a taste. Oh, the asparagus is just delicious. Okay, so our tomato. I mentioned, I'm just going to show you very quickly how I do slice the tomato. to get our tomato concassette. So if you first cut off this knife's not that sharp. Let me just take this tip off. Okay. So what you want to do is go around the outside of the tomato. It's the wall of the tomato. So go around all four sides. And then you can see all the seeds here. You just want to remove the seeds. Then you're able to slice it. Then all you do is just make some nice thin strips, julienne it, and then go ahead and do some small dice. So let's continue with the tomato. You want to season it also. Pepper, a little bit of kosher salt, with the tomato, I am going to put a tiny bit of the very minced shallot, a good teaspoon. At the restaurant, we would add a little bit of white truffle oil, which I get from D'Artagnan, and it's quite delicious. You certainly don't need to invest in a bottle of white truffle oil if it's not something that you would normally use in your home. You can go ahead and use extra virgin olive oil, but since I have some, I'm going to add a little bit. It tastes great with the crab. So it's just a couple of drops. And by the way, D'Artagnan does sell retail along with wholesale for restaurants. So if you're interested, it's d'artagnan.com. You can take a look at their website. It's very, very aromatic. And it doesn't take much. You don't need a whole lot. So let's just taste that. Oh, wonderful. Oh, one other thing that I do want to put in with the tomato is a little bit of the chopped chives. Okay, here is our crab meat. There's a pound of crab meat here. I'm probably only going to, I'm just going to make 2. These are individual appetizers, so I'm just going to prepare 2, so I won't use all of this crab meat. But take a look. This is Jumbo Lump Crabmeat. So I would say this is probably enough for 2 portions, which means that with a pound of crab meat, you could try to get at least 6 of them. We also need to add some very finely minced shallot. And I hope that you can see how finely minced this is. Because it's raw, you don't want large pieces. You want to make sure it's really nicely minced. So let's sprinkle a good teaspoon here of the shallot. And here's where I will add the tarragon. I would say that's about a half a teaspoon to start. And you can certainly add a little bit of chives as well. Normally with a dish like this, I would use white pepper instead of black pepper for the crab. I do have some ground white pepper here, so I'm going to use it. And we will season it with a little bit of kosher salt. And then we will add a little bit of our mayonnaise. Let's start with about a tablespoon and see how we go from there. You want to just nicely coat your fish. So I have a lemon here, and I think that I might just put a tiny little squeeze. Not too much, just a tiny bit, just to brighten it all up. And then we can taste this and see how it tastes. All right, let's take a taste. Make sure we have enough of everything there. Yeah, delicious. Okay, so this is kind of a tower. So you do need some type of a mold in order to be able to layer all the different vegetables and the ingredients to this dish. I understand people say that you can take both ends of a tuna fish can and use the ring of the tuna fish can to be able to use as a ring mold. Okay, so here's your plate, and the first assembly to this dish is the potato. So you're going to put a layer of potato right in the center, and you just want to even it out and make sure that you have one nice layer. Then we would use our asparagus next. So a nice layer of the asparagus will go right directly on top of the potato. That looks perfect. And now our crab meat is next. Well, I'm definitely correct in telling you that a pound could give you anywhere from 6 to 8 of these towers, depending on how large your ring mold is. Okay, then our last ingredient is the tomato. We'll put that right on the top. All right. Now you could actually add another layer of using some microgreens. I'm going to show you two different ways. So these are some beautiful local microgreens. A bit of kosher salt, a little bit of pepper. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of extra virgin olive oil on the outside here. So you could put a nice little mound of microgreens right in the center, right on top, like so, just like that. Okay, and then I just have a little bit of a champagne vinaigrette, and I think I've made it in previous videos. So it's just a little bit of vinaigrette that I would put around the plate. At the restaurant, we used to always make chive oil because we always had so many chives in the garden, which we do right now. So you can make a little chive oil to go around the plate, which looks really pretty too. So a little bit of vinaigrette. And if you wanted, you could even take the asparagus spears. All right. So we have our asparagus spears, and it's sitting in the vinaigrette, which is really nice because then you can get a taste of the vinaigrette along with your dish, which is beautiful. And then you can always finish with just a touch of fleur de sel or Maldon sea salt, and right over especially the asparagus. The rest of the dish should be nicely seasoned. So then you just lift up, and then there you have your beautiful asparagus appetizer, beautiful tower, which I'm going to come around and bring it closer to you so that you can see it. Okay, so there you have it, your beautiful asparagus tower. The potato, the asparagus, the crab, the tomato, and some lovely microgreens. Another way that you could decorate this would be to let people know what is inside. It's always good to garnish with what's in the dish. So what's in the dish? We have tarragon. So we could always take a small stem, which we often did at the restaurant if we didn't have any microgreens. A small sprig of tarragon. What else? We have chives in there. So right now we have the beautiful blossom, the beautiful flower, chive flower. So why not use it in the dish? And then we have a little bit of our vinaigrette, which I would always finish with. A little bit of champagne vinaigrette. And I still do enjoy to put just a touch of Malden sea salt or fleur de sel, whichever you happen to have, on the plate, slowly. So here we have it. Okay, you can see all the different layers. Two beautiful crab and asparagus towers. Very nice for this time of year, and it is quite a treat. Okay, thanks so much. I hope you enjoy it. It was my pleasure to share this dish with you, and we will see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye now.